The second setup call should last no longer than 60 minutes. Now, if they have submitted the billing application and their billing is live, even just for credit cards, then this is a great opportunity to show them how they can sell a membership to a student and even get them scheduled for billing. So what you're going to get them engaged in is payment processing, being comfortable with it so they can use it with perfect mind. So if you have the opportunity to do this, then walk them through selling a membership for a student. Perhaps they're coming from another billing company or another provider, and they need to get them into the system, or they had a new student register between this call and the previous one. If they're not ready to do this and they have not yet submitted the billing application, please urgently ask them to submit it to the success team by end of day. Set a timeline for it so you can get it in. Now, at the top of the call, please review the action items that they were to complete in time for this call. So most likely their homework would have been adding their programs and ranks to settings. So review the bullet points in terms of the homework they had, items they needed to complete in time for this session. So if they've added all the programs that they offer, and each of those programs has its own ranking system, and for each of the programs, they have the correct progression method, and they've added all their ranks. And each of the ranks has all the details that it needs. If they have stripes and they want to track stripes, then they've enabled this, and they've put in all the details. And then, of course, the details for rank progression in terms of readiness for promotion. Attendances, days, and again, if it's by time and attendance, which it is for this program, then all of these fields are completed. So you're going to want to do a quick once-over. See if they have any questions about this and ensure that they've completed this. If they have not completed this, tell them it is absolutely imperative they have this done between now and the next call. It's going to inhibit their ability to implement this solution. Find out if they have added their memberships. So all their options for enrollment and registration, have they added all the memberships here? And everything's correct. So their limited memberships are added correctly. There's a duration. The price is the full price for the full term. Their payment pattern, the number of payments, pay now, etc. So make sure that these are all here. So in terms of the basics, you can get them to add a contact so they're comfortable with this process. And they may have contacts they need to add. They may have a lead. Maybe somebody called or walked in today or the day before, or between the first and the second call. So if they have anyone that they need to add, get them to add them. And they should add all relevant details. If they are a lead, make sure the type is correct. Their phone number, email address is crucial. Remind them how important this is because they're going to set up a lot of automations and their communication to their contacts through Perfect Mind, it's going to be heavily through email. And they should add everything else. They should add campaigns so they can track how the student found them. And if they don't have the options here in campaigns, well, then they should add all their campaigns. That's probably a piece of homework from the first session. And of course, ask them if they have any questions from the last call. So if there's any lingering questions about any of the material that you reviewed previously, address that first before proceeding. The second setup call should focus primarily on scheduling and attendance. So the first place to start is going to be the calendar. And you can show them that the calendar can be altered in terms of different views. They can have it set to week, day, etc. And then they can also filter by user and also by event type. Class, exam, special event. This could be used for birthday parties or seminars, and intros or introductories. They can also use colors, and then they can also group the viewings by event type. So they can have their classes in one column, exam, special event, etc. And then they can also change it by the timeline. And they can also set up views or filter the calendar rather by instructor. So, and they can color code this, and then that allows them to be able to view the calendar by instructor. So this definitely can be used in martial arts. This might be more common in fitness or yoga or even for personal training. So one of the things that they're going to need to do is if they have any ongoing appointments or event types, if they have, say, introductory time, some businesses have introductory session time available between, say 3 and 5 p.m. So that's time where it's dedicated to intros. So if they want to do that, they could set up, if they're 30-minute blocks, they could add them here, on a recurring basis. Or, if they just book an intro with someone. So we've got the lead that we just added. We had Trevor Keller, so you can walk them through the process of booking an intro. And we can say that an intro is booked for 3 p.m. today. So double click in the time, and we'll change the event type to intro. And this is intro 1. And if there's anything else they want to fill in, who the instructor is that is conducting the introductory, they can add that as well. And then they can book their lead. They can do it right from here, of course. Or they could book them from this contact's actual page. And you can remind them that for intros especially, they can set up an auto notification that will remind this particular lead or anyone else that's booked for this 2 hours, 4 hours, 1 day, etc. before the time. So if you want to set up a 4-hour reminder, you could do that. You could also set up send RSVP request. So they can RSVP, and when they do so, the status of their RSVP will be right here. Definitely a useful feature for special events such as seminars, but also good for intros. But this auto notification is something that almost anyone would use. Now, they have to add their classes, so their entire schedule needs to be added here on the calendar. So for instance, if they have adult karate classes that are Tuesdays and Thursdays, we can add them here. So we'll say adult beginner karate, and this goes from 7 to 8. It does repeat because it's a recurring event, and we're going to say this is weekly, and it's Tuesday and Thursday. I can link this to a particular instructor. And if I want to have a maximum capacity, I could do so. This is more used for online booking. But when it comes to a school schedule, what they can take advantage of is linking this to a particular program. So this is my adult karate program. And starting rank and ending rank, how this is useful is if they want to enable smart scanning for the attendance. So if they're not going to book students into classes, if they have smart scanning enabled, then based on the window in terms of the scanning ranges when the student scans in or the attendance is taken, and they are scanning in within that window for a particular class, and their rank is between the starting and ending rank of that class, they'll be automatically checked in for this specific class. So we're going to say this is white belts only. So this is white to white. So you can see how this is important that they have their programs and their ranks added first so they can add this when they're adding their classes. So there is an order to things. So this is ready. We can save this. And now I've got my recurring adult beginner karate classes, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Get them to add 2 or 3 recurring classes on their own so they're comfortable with this process. And once they feel comfortable with it, then you can move on. Now, when it comes to booking students, so first what we're going to do is let's have a student that is in my adult karate program. So we're going to sell him the membership. Everything looks good here. Buy now. And he has a pay now or a down payment of $125. That's his first month. So payment starts, of course. We're going to say it's going to be a month from now. We're going to bill him on the 25th of each month. Would you like this person to become an active contact? Well, that will make them an active student, so yes. Of course, print receipt and email receipt options here, and they can also print their contract. And then we'll navigate back to his page. So we've got his membership now, Adult Karate, 1 year. Now I can book him for his classes from here. So I can click schedule. I can also do it down here under schedules. All I have to do is click add. It's not showing here for this particular example. However, we can go to the calendar and we're going to double click this. And if you're booking students, you're booking them into the series. Booked. There we go. He's now booked for this series of classes. And of course, you could do multiple contacts at once. In addition to this contact, you can do a search for multiple contacts and book them all in. When it comes to attending the students, you can show them there's a variety of ways to do this. Now, when you double-click the event and you're attending a student, you're going to be editing just the occurrence. You're not going to attend them to a series of classes. It's going to be just this particular class. And if they're already booked, well, it's really as easy as just changing the status to attended. Very simple. Now, if they were not booked, they could also type their name and they could click it and they can just click attended and add. So that's another option as well. Another way that they can attend students is using the class report. This report is very dynamic. So if I have my students booked into this class, so up at the top here, I can select a day and I can select the class. So I've got today, I've got my adult beginner karate class. Now I attended this particular contact into the class already. So it's displaying his program, classes since promotion. Now with this report, I can promote him to his next rank. But if he was just simply booked into this class, then he would show under the not attended section. And from here, I would be able to attend him. Now, let's see about getting another contact booked here. So I'm going to book him. And let's go back to the class report. Okay, so now you'll see that this contact is under not attended, so that because he's booked. I can attend him right from the report. One of the benefits of this is because Perfect Mind is web-based, you could take your attendance with a mobile device, like a tablet, such as an iPad. So some schools may want to operate this way. They may want to use this for classes where they have young children, where they don't have them scanning in on their own. That's maybe left for the youth and the adults to do their attendance that way. Again, it always depends on how the business wants to operate, but once they know what options they have, they can go from there. So for any business that wants to take their attendance this way, they could use the report. So as long as they're booking their students into series of classes, they can attend them right from this report. And of course, more contacts that are in this report, they're going to see other data here. Who has stripes due, who's due for renewal. Need info, that's a field that if it had been filled out on the contacts page, such as need waiver form, but signed, that would be indicated here. Medical conditions, if you've added that to the medical condition field on the student page, that will show here. So if a student is recovering from an injury or they have asthma, then that would be indicated here. So very handy for an instructor. This is another way of taking attendance. And another, and probably the most popular way, is using the attendance app Perfect Scan. In the App Store, all they need to do is copy this link and Perfect Scan is currently Windows compatible only, so they will not be able to use this if they do not have Windows. And they do need to install it on any machine that they want to take attendance on. So I have downloaded here the application. And I want to install. With Perfect Scan, they can do manual search, just like what you do in the calendar. So they can type in the first few letters of a student's name. Perfect Mind will bring up any matching results, and then they can select the student name and check them in. Or if they're going to be using ID cards or barcodes or custom IDs, then and they'll be using a scanner that's connected to the computer, then they can use Perfect Scan for that. So a lot of schools, especially the larger schools, will have students with their own cards that they're going to scan in. And the login for Perfect Scan is going to be their login for Perfect Mind. So if they're doing a manual search, then this is a way that they can check them in. So they can click on the name and then scan them in. And Perfect Scan will be running in the background while they continue to work. And the students, when they come in, they can scan their cards. Now, if they're going to be using ID cards, so from Documents, there is a folder called ID cards. And here we've got Contact ID card, and we've got barcodes with the full name. So if they're going to be printing cards, they can select the students they need to print cards or barcodes for, and they can click Print. And then they've got the option here, so Contact ID card. And as long as they have the barcode font installed on their machine, then the barcode will show here on the right, to the right of the photo. Another option for clients to consider is custom ID cards, or custom ID key tags. Very popular in fitness clubs. And one of the benefits of using key tags is they go right on the keychain. And on one side would be the business logo, on the back side would be the barcode, the business website, their phone number, and then the custom ID number. So when they enroll a new student, they can issue them a tag. The student puts it on their keychain, and most likely they would never lose it that way. So generally for anyone over the age of 11 or 12, they're going to have a set of keys, a set of house keys at least. And so it's going to be very beneficial for them because these not only look good and they look professional, they work flawlessly with a scanner. They market the business wherever they're seen, and they motivate students to come to class. So they actually serve a variety of purposes. So this is an option. This company's website is idsource.com. This is not affiliated with Champions Way, but this is an option based on some positive customer feedback on how they go about taking attendance. If they want to purchase a scanner from Champions Way, they may do so. By contacting our sales team at our toll-free number, or they can speak to a member of the customer success team about having a scanner ordered. Great way to automate their attendance. Now, in terms of managing attendance data, they can use views and also reports. A very handy view is the absent last 7 days view. So anyone who has not attended in the last 7 days, their last attended date was 7 days ago. So they can edit this if they want to. If they wanted to, for instance, make this 14 days, they can simply just change that. So last attended date equals n days ago, and they can simply replace the n with a 14 and add the criteria. So, and then they would just want to rename the view. So that's something they could do as well. Or they could work with this view. Also, remind them again of the class report here in the attendance folder. That will have a lot of information that they can use. And again, they can also promote students here. At the end of the session, please reiterate homework that they need to complete between now and the third call. And that is adding all of their classes. Everything on their schedule needs to be added to their calendar. If they don't do this, they will not be able to use the attendance system, and they won't be able to, implement Perfect Mind on time. Now, when it comes to the attendance settings, that is here in Settings under Automations, and it is an option called Attendance Settings. So they can click on this, and they can set up their settings right here. So this is scanning ranges, so the window of time where member check-in can be done with Perfect Scan. So this is minutes before class start time, minutes after class start time, minutes between scans. So if you leave it as 0, this will prevent students from scanning themselves multiple times over, which can skew your records. Allow makeup class. So if a student is attending a class that they're not normally booked for, or it's outside of their usual program, or it is a class that, or they're scanning in outside of this window, if you have this checked, then it will still create an attendance record with a date and timestamp, just so it creates an attendance record that they were there. And of course, the smart scanning by rank, this will work if they've added their starting and ending ranks to all the classes on the calendar, which we just covered. If they have not sent the billing application back yet, and they will be using Perfect Mind for any payment processing, then reiterate how important it is that they send it in to the success team by the end of this business day. And as always, please always leave each session with reminding them of our different support channels. Our technical support team can be reached through live chat, by our toll-free number, and as well as by email. We also offer live training 3 times per day. This is live training that's open Q&A, question and answer, at these times, and all they need is audio. And of course, in Perfect Mind, there is the Extensive Help Center in the upper right corner. They can click on Help, and this is complete with videos, instructions, and screenshots. You want to book your third setup call no later than 1 week from this time, just to keep the momentum of the training on track. If you can book it within a few days from this appointment, that would probably be best, so you can wrap up lingering questions from the previous sessions and move on to the next phase of the curriculum.